Welcome to Uncle's channel. Thanks for watching today, and let's continue our journey to finish every single Game Boy Color game. Today, focus on a game called Wendy Every Witch Way for the Game Boy Color. Now, this is a franchise that I was completely unaware of. It's actually a spin-off of Casper the Friendly Ghost. I actually figured out at some point in my reading that the Casper movie from the 90s, the main female lead in it was originally called Wendy, until they realized they're going to actually have to pay for extra copyrights. And so they decided to change the name at that point. But Wendy's very heavily related to Casper as far as like the two franchises go. I had just simply never heard of her before, but has her own comic book series, a possibly cartoon as well. But overall, this is a very charming game. It is very short, but they really jam-packed as much as they could into such a small package, and also give it plenty of replayability at the same time. Honestly, I would say this is a great game to load up around Halloween if you just simply want a short Halloween-y game to go through. But overall, let's go ahead and dive into Wendy Every Witch Way. Now, this particular game did get moved up in the queue a bit because Alex Shadowfax111 requests I cover it sooner than later, so that's moved up in the queue. And there's a game that you want to see me cover sooner than later. Let me know the name of the game in the comments down below, and just like Wendy Every Witch Way, I'll move it right on up. Now I start the videos off, link the box art for the game first, and the box art here pretty much summarizes the game perfectly. You have Wendy right there in the center, has her little magic wand out in front of her that she uses to attack the enemies. The skeleton, the Viking ghost, the mage, the knight, the little Goomba with dropping the bomb at the top. All of those are inside the game here, and so you're actually describing every single enemy, even the level in the background, like a dungeon level, that's also in the game. So the overall artwork is very descriptive of the gameplay. It also says down at the bottom right-hand corner, plus 30 levels exclusively for the Game Boy Advance, and you actually go to the little option in the menu here, and you can go down there and you can play the individual Game Boy Advance levels on their own. And it is one of very few games that actually has a Game Boy Advance options. I know Shantae had it, as well as the Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. They had it, right? I don't know, I'm doubting myself now. But it is a very elite club of the Game Boy Color games that have Game Boy Advance material. But like I said, overall, the cover, excellent cover. Now, when you load the game up here, the tile screen is very simple, has a nice little tune in the background. Nothing too flashy here. And then the story starts up here, and Wendy journeys off into the attic of her aunt's house, Velma, Velma, and Zelma. And she opens up a treasure chest that has like these gravity stones in it. And these stones fly out, and they go to this castle above her house. And then the gravity stones weigh it down, and it comes crashing down right on top of the little hill here. And so Wendy's going to have to journey through this castle in order to retrieve all of the gravity stones to put them back in a treasure chest to basically save her house and also get the castle to float all over again. And then we start up level 1-1, and before every single level we get a little picture of Wendy here, and it really shows off that 1950s Halloween aesthetic really well. And this is what the cartoon or the comic book was known for back in the day. And so I'm glad they kept the original art style here, because it does give you that old-timey Halloween feel. Now when we jump into level 1, it has very much a castle dungeon aesthetic here, fully equipped with like little slugs crawling on the ceilings. You have little knights that are trying to attack you as well, little demon statues in the background. You know, they're really trying to play up the Halloween castle aesthetic. But as you're going through here, like the controls are very basic. The A button is your jump, B button is shoot your little magic wand out in front of you, and initially your magic wand just simply shoots a single blast, but as you collect stars throughout the level, your wand can get more and more powerful, all the way up to the point where you're shooting out like a little spread shot. But every time you do get hit, you're going to lose one of your stars, so you never want to get down to 0 stars because you lose a life, but you really want to keep it as high as possible to keep that shot as effective as you can. Now this would seem like a normal platforming game until you actually go into the gravity settings, which is going to be if you press the up button with the A at the same time, or down A button at the same time, you're going to flip the gravity in the level. So if you're at the bottom of the screen, you and all the enemies are going to float to the top, and if you're at the top of the screen, you do the gravity effect, you and all the enemies will float down to the bottom. And it's not just going to be all the enemies, you also have like water effects or acid effects that'll also flip with you, as well as like some of the stone enemies like the womp womps of this world are going to float at the same time. So several things in the environment are also going to be affected by your gravity feature. And they are going to try to implement this into pretty much every aspect of the game, not just simply taking out enemies, but also like different puzzles and different mazes you're going to go through as we progress. And so it's clearly the gimmick of the game, but it is also very, very well done, and so will make this game so unique at the same time. Now when we finish up level 1-1, there is one of the moonstones you have to collect, and at the close of every level there is a moonstone, and like I said, you're trying to collect them all. Now level 1-2 is going to add in a new enemy. You have the pig bandit here, and you have to actually flip the gravity upside down to get them sort of crash into the ceiling or into the floor here, and then you can attack them. If you just try to attack normally, it will not work. There's also more gravity flips if you want to collect more of the stars as you go, and then you get to the portion of these little red platforms, and you can actually actually jump through those, but you're not going to fall backwards through them. If you turn the gravity upside down, it's going to change the puzzle mechanics up just a little bit. Nothing too major here, but they are trying to keep it fresh as you're journeying through. And then you have level 1-3, which is going to add spikes into the mix, as well as these one-eyed womp-womp looking creatures, which will be affected by the gravity as well. And you also have more choose your own path here. And I don't really think the paths make like a ton of difference. I think it's sort of a journey off to find different stars and whatnot. And the stars aren't really beneficial except for upgrade your weapon. But when your weapon is upgraded all the way, I think the only benefit is to get more points, which can lead to extra lives and things like that. There's not going to be like a different ending or different collectibles hidden throughout, which is sort of a shame because the game could have done a lot for the replayability if they just simply added more collectibles that you could find to maybe alter the ending a little bit. And that's going to wrap up level 1. And anytime you finish a world here, you're actually going to get a little bonus level. And before the bonus level starts, you actually get a picture of one of Wendy's aunts. It's either Thelma, Zelma, or what was the other? Or Velma. I don't know which one it was. I actually tried to Google it to figure it out. But this is one of the ants. If you know which one it is, you can let me know in the comments down below. But the bonus levels are always going to be the same. It just simply has Wendy on her broomstick here, traversing the landscape from left to right, collecting the stars as she goes, and also shooting to take out some of the enemies that are approaching. The bonus levels are never super difficult. It just simply allows you to collect more points, to get extra lives, or if you're going for that high score, in order to up your score as much as possible. And then we journey off into level 2, and I'm sort of going to put all 3 of the portions of level 2 together here, because they all focus on like the garden aesthetic or the outskirts of the castle. You have like little fountains in the background, you have like little bushes. Enemies are going to go into the bushes, try to poke you with a dagger as you journey by. You're also going to have these little green slimes are going to be hopping around. This is like the slime era of video games. There pretty much was no video game out there that did not enjoy a good slime here or there. You also have the pools of acid. If you reverse the gravity effects, the acid is going to go flying toward the top of the screen or back down to the bottom, depending on which way the gravity is going there. You also have these little happy womp womps that I'm going to call them because they're just thrilled for you to come stomping through and use them as a platform as you're journeying toward the end here. But for the most part, level 2 is very similar as far as like the puzzle mechanics. It's just simply going to expand the enemy roster a little bit and make some of the levels a little bit more long, a little more branching off paths, but still keeping up that exact same charm as the overall first world. Then we journey off into bonus stage number 2. A great little cartoon witch here. Once again, it's one of her aunts. Very angry looking witch, but I don't know, pretty funny at the same time. And then we journey off into level 3, and this is going to be the best level inside the entire game. It's really going to focus on the true Halloween aesthetics. It's like a boat with like a vampire coffins all throughout. Maybe it's like the voyage of the Dementor to a degree. You know, like when Dracula first came over, at least that's the feeling that I'm getting from the level anyway, because you have all these like little coffins for vampires. You also have these little vampire statues throughout. Tons of little skeletons are going to try to attack you. A really cool looking ghost that has like a little Viking helmet on. I'm going to call him Viking Ghost. And then just tons of corridors littered full of spikes that you're trying to avoid as you're falling down through it. And I don't know, there's something very thrilling about falling through a huge corridor or hallway here of spikes on your left, spikes on your right, and just avoiding them all as you drop down. It's not difficult, but it's like just knowing so much danger is around you and you're avoiding it as you go. I don't know, I think it's a cool little part of the game, and the overall soundtrack for this level is just a truly haunting soundtrack, and the soundtrack for the whole game is pretty good, I will say, but this one here is definitely my favorite soundtrack. But overall, level 3 here is going to expand out sort of the length of the levels a little bit as it progresses, as well as more corridors that can branch off. But once again, there's really no reason to go through the corridors unless you're simply going for that high score. And then we have another one of the bonus levels. Once again, another one of Wendy's aunts. Very goofy looking. Bonus levels exactly the same. And then we journey off into world number 4. And this is sort of like the top of the tower or top of the castle. And the core gimmick here is going to be like these little winged light bulbs. And you, of course, can change it back using your gravity move. But within a matter of seconds, it's going to swap it back over from the light bulb. And so it does add a little bit more frustration to it, but at the same time they are trying to keep the game fresh as you're progressing here. You do get new enemies like this little static bat. He never moves, but he has a great expression on his face. You have this little amoeba blob that's going to come and try to attack you. I think I only saw one of those in the entire game actually. Sort of odd to only put one of them in there. You also get these like little Goombas with little bombs above their heads, and if they throw the bomb at you and you flip the gravity on them, then the bomb will come back down and blow them up, and that's the only way to kill them. Also notice in this level that the skeletons, if you swap the graphics on them or swap the gravity on them, they'll actually like try to hang onto the ceiling. And so they really did try to put some thought into the animations here to try to make the game, I don't know, have more charm about it as you're going. And then when you do get to the final here, you do not get another bonus level, but you're going to go off into the boss level, which is going to have the same overall gameplay mechanics as the bonus levels, like you're flying on your little broom here, shooting out your weapons in front of you. And the giant dragon at the close here has 2 attacks. They can shoot out a golden stone at you, it just goes straight across the screen, very easy to avoid, or a green stone that sort of bounces out towards you, and you can actually shoot the green stone back toward the dragon, swap the gravity upside down, it's going to hit the dragon, and you can fire away at the mouth here, and you can take the dragon out with maybe like 4 or 5 flips of the stone into him and firing away. Super easy boss, but that fits with the game. The game is also super easy. And then you do have a little cutscene after you collected all of the gems. You put them back into the treasure chest here, and the little castle that came crashing down, it goes floating back up into the sky, and then the credits do begin to roll. Now if you want to go through the game a second time, there is a hard mode, which does up the difficulty a good bit. Far more enemies throughout the levels, and also all the spikes are now a one-hit kill as you're journeying through as well. And so the game does get exponentially harder in hard mode, and so if you're looking for a challenge, this is the way to go. And truth be told, if I play through in the future, I'll probably just go for hard mode to add that little extra challenge, because normal mode is, I'm going to say, it may be a little bit too easy as you're journeying through here. And then there are the advanced world modes if you want to select from the main menu, and you can journey through an extra set of levels that were basically crafted just for the Game Boy Advance. I honestly sort of feel like the Game Boy Advance levels were probably meant to be part of the original game, because the game is so incredibly short. They really could have used those extra 3 levels, but they probably wanted to have some reason to try to appeal to the Game Boy Advance that had just come out onto the market. That's my guess anyway, because the game really should have had these newer or extra 3 levels built into it as like part of the base content. But regardless, let's talk about the game as an overall here. This game here is a excellent, short, fun Game Boy game. The graphics are excellent, the core enemy design is excellent, the gameplay is excellent, especially if it's like the little gimmick of swapping the gravity back and forth. Plenty of puzzles to go along with that. They probably could have expanded it just a little bit or add a little bit more content in there, but maybe like collectibles like I mentioned. But as far as like just simply a short, fun Halloween game, it met its goal pretty much 100%. I'd probably give it on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm probably going to go with an 8. I feel like they could have expanded a little bit, but there's nothing wrong with the game. They just simply leaves you wanting more, and I feel like that's probably the best way a game can leave you. But it does knock a couple points off from the overall score. But 8 out of 10, excellent game. If you see it somewhere in the wild, definitely pick it up, give it a playthrough at Halloween, and you'll be in for a hauntingly good time. But if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Check my other videos listed up above. Go out there, find a great game to play. Simply have a great rest of the day.